their countermeasures are also there, and they're actually very robust as well. And if you follow the correct guidelines and the correct procedures, you can actually remain safe. So during this seminar, I'll give you a quick background about the company, about VaporVM as an organization. We were founded in 2013. We're a UAE-born company. We're actually headquartered within the UAE in Dubai, in JLT. We also have an office in New York, New Jersey. And we also have an office in Lahore in Pakistan. We're a team of about approximately 100, 110 employees. Most of us are actually technical engineers, come from various backgrounds, including cloud and networking and consulting as well. We are proud to be the gold partner of Microsoft. We also have relationships with many, many vendors within the region, 20 plus vendors. We operate our own NOC and our own SOC within multiple regions, providing a 24/7 service. And Hamad will be taking you guys through some of the SOC services that we provide. In terms of our customers, we have the leading customers within the region, leading brands within the region are our customers. Our focus is cybersecurity, and we've served many customers within the region, providing them with various services from VAPT, and then also we provide hardening services and code reviews and a full suite of services. And the purpose of today's webinar is to actually create awareness of some of the dangers posed by the cyber world and then the remedies for it. So I don't want to take much more time. We only have an hour in terms of the actual allotted time. So I'll hand over to Hamad, and Hamad will actually take you through the bulk of the content. If at any time you actually have questions, you can write them down in the chat. And then we'll also have a dedicated slot of around about maybe 10 to 15 minutes at the end of the call to take everyone's questions audibly as well. So without further ado, Hamad, take it away.
All right. Thank you, Shazad. So before I just start with the other stuff, I will just quickly give a brief introduction about myself. My name is Muhammad Hamad Rashid. I'm the pre-sales cybersecurity engineer at VaporVM. And we can just go ahead and discuss about our today's webinar. So I will start with by the heading. As you can see, it says COVID-19 and cybersecurity. So at the beginning, Shehzad talked about COVID-19 issues and the threats we faced starting with the Q1 of 2020. A lot of organizations faced multiple issues, multiple threats, spam messages related to COVID-19, detected 737 malware. This is one of the analysis from one of the reports. And there are multiple analysis and analytics done on the types of threats faced by different organizations and in various sections. So that can be malicious domains, malicious ransomware, phishing attempts. Even on the threat intelligence feed, the websites who provide threat intelligence, a lot was contributed in the first quarter. So if we see the analysis on the left-hand side, we can see that from January to March, around 419,000 COVID-related IOCs were uploaded. So that's a lot actually. And threat feeds 2,000% increased month over month. So due to this COVID, even specific threats were increased, and organizations had to face a lot of issues, especially in phishing and scams. So without further ado, we can move forward with what are the key concerns organizations are currently facing and they had to face due to COVID-19. So due to this pandemic, a lot of organizations had to move to work from home model. And due to that, and obvious reasons of budget constraints. They need to protect their IT infrastructure. The cyber attacks increased a lot in terms of intensity and in terms of numbers, data security issues, lack of resources, and due to compliance issues. So in some regions, some industries, organizations, they have to be compliant in certain compliances. It can be ISO, it can be PCI. So to fulfill all of these requirements, a solution is needed, right? So to cover up cyber attacks, to keep your infrastructure protected, to keep your employees protected from scams, from phishing threats, and if some organization doesn't have that much resources in terms of skill set, in terms of hardware, and also if we need to cover up the budget constraints, and then finally legal and compliance requirements. The solution or the answer can be in managed security center. So we can say managed services or managed security center. So what is covered in managed security center? It is basically covering starting from gap assessment till your vulnerability management. So it can start off with a gap assessment, then proceed to a SIEM log management. Obviously, in a security center, if we talk about SOC, a SIEM will be there, 24/7 security monitoring and triage, security event investigation, threat hunting, and if it is an industry, OT security is really important thing at the moment. And in case of any malwares, in case of any deep analysis and investigation, then digital forensics and malware analysis can play a key part. Other than that, compromise detection, application security, compliance reporting, it covers a lot of features other than this as well. This is just a few of the headings, and but a managed security center, it talks about your whole infrastructure, starting from the basics to the advanced. So configuration assessment, account security, ticket and log management. Even in some scenarios where there's advisory required in terms of protecting your environment, that is also obviously we can discuss or do it in the managed security. Vulnerability management, a lot of organizations install, they consider a SOC as a SIEM solution, but obviously if we talk about a complete managed security center, then a vulnerability management is a key part. They can have a device to collect all the logs and do analysis, but keeping your environment secure is also required, and that is fixing the issues, fixing the gaps, and there's where vulnerability management helps a lot. Talking about the features, few further features can be automatic discovery, asset discovery. When we in VaporVM managed SOC services, we also do this automated asset discovery. So some organizations face the issue of integration or discovering the assets in their whole environment. How they can be? Maybe someone came and plug in one of the routers, or maybe a switch or a hub. It can be an old device or it can be a new device, but continuously discovering the asset in your environment can help to prevent such breaches. I can understand maybe some organizations had hardened their devices, but in these type of issues, in these type of ongoing threats, it is a really helpful feature. Then host and network intrusion detection, yeah, that can be either a host-based system, or it can be on your whole network, maybe a span port, or it depends, it varies. Then user activity and behavior monitoring. That's again one of the important feature. Normally, if we talk about basic SOC, in that we can say maybe behavior monitoring is not happening, but even for behavior monitoring, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and specific use cases are required to cover this part. Then if we talk about file integrity monitoring, organization who has, obviously everyone has important documents, confidential information, and if file integrity is compromised, then it is a breach. And in this section, it also helps a lot to monitor any changes in your root folders, in your root files of an application. Maybe it's a financial application or industrial application, but this feature helps in that area. Then if we talk about endpoint detection response, maybe if you have an EDR solution or antivirus solution, integration of that and analysis is really helpful in detecting breaches, malwares, and anomalies. Security or orchestration automation. As we are moving forward with advancement, this helps a lot in moving forward to we can say next generation SOC, but obviously even in that, SOAR is required, a proper implementation is required. And last but not least, out of the box integration. Some customers also face the issue of having third-party applications. Those can be internal applications, and the integration is sometimes become quite difficult for them. But we help them, and the Managed Security Center should cover all of the out-of-box integration with all the tools being used in the Security Center. So Managed Security Center, that obviously covers the SOC as well. So if you talk about SOC, we have highlighted here 4 major components of a SOC or Security Center: people, processes, technology, and intelligence. So in the people, we can cover our cybersecurity analysts. In the processes, all the SOPs, runbooks, and what happens if this issue or incident happens in one of the organizations. So a lot of processes are required to run a complete Managed Security Center. Technology, what solutions we are using, is it one solution or we are using multiple solutions? So that covers the technology part. And intelligence, that can be threat feeds, that can be the knowledge the analysts are receiving. Are they upgrading themselves to the latest threats? So this as a whole package has to be there to cover the complete operations of a SOC or Managed Security Center. Then if we talk about architecture of a security operations center, so there are different forms which can be covered. So if we see on the screen, we have highlighted 3 models: on-premises, remote, and hybrid model. So if we talk about on-premise, this model will include all the deployment. If we talk about server, if we talk about log management, security analytics, all these components will be deployed on the customer's environment, and the services, the SOC operations, those all will be run on the customer side. Then if we talk about the hybrid model, this can vary by installing a SIEM server, the loggers, the sensors, the SIEM servers on the customer side, and monitoring and providing the monitoring services from an off-site location. As we see here, all the deployment is here, and the arrow shows that the monitoring services are being provided from a different location. And if we talk about the completely remote services, then what happens is the SIEM is deployed on our environment in one of the data centers, and the sensors can be deployed, sensor and a logger maybe, or just sensors in your environment in the customer site. So this is how it covers on-premise, remote, and hybrid model. Further with that, security assessments, if you see here, that's one of the parts that covers vulnerability assessment, managed security services, and implementation services. So from customer support to security analyst, this is the whole architecture, how it flows. So customers, we will further discuss how a whole operation works in detail. So these are really important steps. Even if one of the component is missing, there will be gaps. And if there are gaps, there's a chance that breaches can happen. So if we talk about traditional detection, normally what is happening or had happened previously, firewalls were deployed, IPS, WAF, DLP solutions, antivirus solutions, threat intel feed-based detection, so and SIEM use cases. So these were the three components which are being used to protect the infrastructure. So a SIEM solution gets logs from from all of these solutions. It can be IPS, WAF. It gets the feeds from threat intelligence, and they create SIEM use cases. So, but still there's a one blind spot which can eventually bring threats and breaches into the environment. So what is this blind spot? This blind spot covers the threat hunting scenario. So statistically models, behavior analysis that I was talking previously, then machine learning and visual analysis. So artificial intelligence plays a very important role in this model, and behavior analysis. So behavior analysis can detect anomalies in the infrastructure, in the IT infrastructure. Maybe phishing emails was detected on one of the employees' computer, and from that phishing email something happened, and later on when the behavior analysis was completed, it came to know that it was due to some other employees' behavior. It was it can be maybe from a USB if it's enabled in your environment. So there are multiple aspects which covers behavior analysis as well. So in deep detection with hunting, all of these scenarios should be covered. That includes threat intelligence, that covers signature matching, SIEM use cases, and behavior analysis, machine learning. So if you move forward, as I was discussing previously, that asset discovery, we have shown here just a view of how assets are discovered. So that can be network asset discovery. So when we run an asset discovery scan, a complete scan gives us the services that are running on that asset, the software which is running on that asset, and it also includes the scan run on cloud infrastructure. So it can be AWS or Microsoft Azure. The asset discovery will work there as well. If we talk about assessment, vulnerability assessment again plays a very important role. If we have a SOC setup, but we are not doing vulnerability assessment, we are not doing configuration check of the servers, we are not hardening these services, then there is a lot of chance that we can, the customers or these devices can eventually get breached or have issues. Intrusion detection. So cloud intrusion detection. So the intrusion detection can be on cloud structure. If you have cloud infrastructure, as I said previously, it can be Azure, it can be AWS. Intrusion detection is covered in that scenario, and it plays a very important role. It can detect different types of attacks. It can detect any suspicious activity, suspicious commands, suspicious maybe a CMD PowerShell was run, So there are a lot of things which can be detected by intrusion detection, and these can be in two categories: host intrusion detection and network intrusion detection. So in host, it can be an agent which is a very light agent installed on the host machines, and then the network intrusion can be from the traffic coming to the network. It can be from core switches or the firewall. So this as a whole can be covered, and then obviously endpoint detection response. Behavior monitoring. So as I was saying earlier, that user activity monitoring. So what the user is doing, how maybe we got an alarm or a ticket that failed login by user, as we can also see on the screen. And when we see the time, it says maybe 10 p.m. or maybe in off working hours. It's a suspicious alarm that this employee, this department, they never sign in this time of the days or night. So why it's happening? So this kind of user activity and behavior monitoring is really helpful to detect issues. SIEM Log Management, customized dashboards, that helps a lot in quickly detecting and analyzing the situations, notifications, and ticketing. That is really important section. So we might have detected the issue, we might have learned how that something happened, but to track down the whole scenario, to get proper notifications, to get proper ticketing, we need a proper process and system to run the operations, to keep the notifications and ticketing going on. And other than that, compliance reporting templates. So where it comes to compliance reporting, the solutions which are there, they should support compliance reporting templates as well, or else it will be again a whole manual work to do for compliance reporting. So in the threat detection, I talked about use cases, how use cases can help us to detect the things. So we have highlighted few of the use cases here, the most of the famous ones, which normally are really helpful. Here we are highlighting SQL Injection Attack. So IDS addresses this issue as well. Even if we see here, it's showing SQL Injection Detection. So this is a high issue, high value, high criticality, and normally websites and databases are affected by these type of use cases. So these kind of attacks. So use cases help us to discover and fix the issues before they breach it or bring down the network. The other use case we are discussing here is the waterhole attack. So again, an attacker can target a server using infected visitors. So maybe one of the employees' laptop was breached or compromised, and an attacker can use the same device to get into your environment. So different exercises can eventually highlight the possibilities and the compromises of the assets and your network. Even here in one of the solutions, in one of the security solutions, it is highlighting in the IOCs that this website or this is a type of waterhole attack. If you go further, we have highlighted malware attack. As I was discussing in the beginning that when the COVID-19 started, this pandemic started, a lot of threats were related to COVID-19. And at that scenario, threat intelligence plays a lot in discovering the attacks and helping to mitigate the issues. So maybe yesterday there was a new malware which attacked some organization, and some of the teams who participate, who contribute to threat intelligence platforms, they instantly uploaded the IOCs and the steps to help other people fix those issues. So in this scenario, threat intelligence plays a big part to help to mitigate these type of issues. If threat intelligence feeds are integrated with the security solutions, eventually they will take the pulses, they will take the IOCs from there and prevent or highlight the issues. So and overall, how the incident management works. So the ticket or the alarm alert can be generated by a SIEM solution, recording and classification by SOC team. Level 1 support team verifies if it can be directly fixed, if the diagnosis is there, and the resolution, if the SOPs are updated for that. If they can directly close it by themselves, they will proceed ahead and update the SOPs and finish the process. If a customer approval is required for, if there's a specific scenario where something is further required, the approval will be taken from the customer, and again, the diagnosis and the resolution will happen. So this is just a general high-level incident management process flow. So if we talk about reporting, we were discussing earlier that compliance reporting plays a really important part. I understand that an issue is detected, the issue is detected and mitigated as well. But then at the end of the day, how do we need to keep all the records? How do we need to keep the reporting structure that if we receive a similar event, a similar alert again after a few months, how we can go back and just correlate the issues. So in this part, reporting in overall helps a lot. So compliance reporting, just one section. We can generate automatic reports by highlighting the options we need in the compliance reporting section. And also for the vulnerability assessment, a separate report should be initiated. It shouldn't be a one whole report which covers all these sections, but a separate report for compliance reporting, a separate report for vulnerability assessment, so that the technical team, the application owners, the server owners, they can fix those issues. And these reporting structures should include the recommendations for those to fix the issues found. And then alarms report. So even again, to correlate the tickets, events, alarms reports, security events, trends report should be initiated and provided. So what happens in security events? Maybe this malware, this incident and threat is active a lot in this month. So we should know what are the trends of ongoing security events, and if this somehow comes to our organization, then how do we need to take actions against that. Then security operations report, how all the processes are working. Is there any issue in the security operations, in the SOC processes, and what are the steps they are taking within the SOC department? So that report also helps to improve and mitigate the gaps within the teams. Tickets report, obviously when tickets are generated, those requires follow-ups so that the issues are fixed on time and based on the priority. So if other than that, if any customized reports are required, so those can also be covered. Maybe maybe a C-level report is required, maybe some other specific executive summary is required. So those type of customized reports should be available and can be generated from the security solutions. So customization of reports helps a lot in quickly going through the reports and detecting, mitigating the issues. So at the end, as we were discussing about the compliances. So the solutions which are being used, or even the solutions which we are using, those should be and are certified in these compliances. So NIST is very important framework, ISO 27001, SOC Type 2, HIPAA compliance, GDPR ready. So the solutions should be compliant to these compliances and frameworks. And also, we have highlighted few of the solutions, IBM QRadar in SIEM. It involved RSA, McAfee, Splunk, Tenable. So these are just few of the solutions which highlight and complete or build a SOC or a managed security center. For example, RSA, Alien Vault, these are SIEM solutions. Obviously, they provide other services as well, for example, EDR solutions. But if we see from their naming and brand, they are the SIEM providers. Tenable, for example, they provide multiple security and vulnerability management solutions as well. So the teams should be, so the managed, in an overall, the managed security center covers a lot of features, and it helps to mitigate the issues, the threats being faced from all over the world. So the issues can be from any part of the world, and eventually our teams, people, processes, technology, and intelligence helps to protect the IT infrastructure. So that was all for today's session. I believe we can move to our Q&A section, and let's go ahead with the question and answering.
Yes, we have.
Assalamu alaikum. Hello.
Yes, we
Yeah,
can
I
hear
have. Okay, I have a question that how COVID-19 will affect the future of SOC analyst, or what impact will we have after this scenario is covered?
Waqas?
Okay, can you please repeat your question, Muhammad Ali? Alias, right? Alias, your voice is distorting, right? Can you please repeat your question?
Okay, sir. I was asking that how COVID-19 will affect the future of SOC analysts, or what will be changed?
Okay, obviously, COVID-19 has really, impacted the futures of many. Not the future, I can say. This is sometimes you partially impacted the SOC analyst future, but even again for competent SOC analysts and people who are working in SOC domain at whatever level, they will be inshallah soon they will be get hired by any organization, because this COVID-19 obviously will inshallah will settle down, right? So we cannot say that it impacts SOC analyst future, but it partially it affect for the time being. But obviously things going on, and cyber security attacks and malware attacks is still growing, right? So it is for the time being. This impact is for the time being, and soon this impact will release, and then the things are settled down. And obviously SOC, and especially SOC analysis, is very very growing field. So I hope that inshallah soon, and even in Pakistan and across in UAE, people will get job as ASAP, right? As soon as possible. Does it answer your question?
The only thing I would add to this would be is that what we've seen during these past like maybe 7 months or so is we've seen a growing trend. I mean, we've been talking about the move to cloud, the talk about digital transformation for many years, right? But it's almost during these desperate times, people have kind of like almost woken up and realized that this is something it's urgent. So they've taken steps, and as we've seen many companies who traditionally were kind of slow in their journey towards digital transformation, they've sped up, and they've channeled funding to those to those areas in order to actually improve their digital footprint and modernize their processes. I think in the same way, the actual the function of the SOC analyst and working within the SOC and setting up a security operations center, I think, I mean, we can't obviously predict the future, but it's something that would be trending up, because the SOC analyst function is usually in those cases where I mean, if you imagine the market is having more tools and technologies connected to the internet, it's not even the traditional information security. You're actually also talking about now the operational security and the big industrial plants and IoT taking a huge step in terms of actually as in a much bigger footprint. What you'll find is that the SOC analyst actually has the role of the SOC analyst is increasing. And also covering operational security as well. And I think in general, I think it's something that's trending upwards. I think the role of the SOC analyst is something that's going to become more prominent as and when more and more companies are modernizing their processes, and more processes are cloud-based and applications are cloud-based, and even the industrial tools are actually also then moving on to like digital platforms, and in many industrial cases you've got like remote monitoring as well now, and all of those are functions of the SOC, right? The SOC is where you would be monitoring all of those threats from. You would actually go out to the field to see if there's someone trying to hack into the information. You'd usually do it with the SOC, and from that angle, I think the actual role of the SOC analyst is something that's going to become even more prominent, inshallah. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir. I have one more question, that now the companies will move towards implementing SOC solutions, like automate incidents, automate threat reports. So that will affect the SOC field, like the person doing job, the number of jobs will reduce because the things will automate after that.
I think, you know what, this is kind of the same trend that's going through all of the different industries. Automation is something that's coming in, and you know, prior to COVID, I think sometime last year, I was actually looking at an interview by the global head of McKinsey, and he's actually a Scottish guy, and he was mentioning about how what we're going through right now, he said this prior to COVID, right? He didn't actually, this was prior to COVID. He said that what we're going through right now is actually is as big as the Industrial Revolution that happened many, many years ago. I mean, that happened in the previous century, and how when the Industrial Revolution happened, many of the workers were displaced, and this became an economic and a demographic challenge for the governments. I think in a similar way, what we're seeing right now is through the automation, it's another revolution, that many workers are actually being displaced and being replaced by those tools. But I think, you know, I don't think we're there yet, that the SOC analyst is going to be completely like removed and be replaced by these tools. I think it's actually coming. It's something that I would say that I guess just look to the market, look at the trends, and actually broaden your own skills. In terms of a SOC analyst, one of the things that you could potentially look into in terms of broadening your skill set is to work on that automation, right? Because you'll know the subject matter, you will know best in terms of actually how the automation will work, and you can broaden your skills to implement that automation, and that could also open up a door for you. Because there's one thing to some of the best people placed to be able to work within automation are the people that actually understand the content. If you don't understand the content, then actually creating a tool or implementing a tool to automate something is actually quite difficult. So I would say that's something else that you can actually reskill yourself on. But it's a challenge that I think everyone is facing, not just the SOC analysts. I think that pretty much every single industry has got these type of challenges where automation is threatening the actual current labor. And I think it's that the topic is quite broad, and possibly broader than this webinar. So I hope that kind of like answers your question, even though it may not be the most ideal answer.
Ali, this I would add one line here. This inshallah, moving forward, we are going to conduct another webinar on the SOAR as well. But SOAR is an extended feature of traditional SOC, right? It is next generation SOC,
Yes,
right?
sir.
So again, I would say that it will not eliminate the SOC analyst role, right? Because you have to work on once you work on the SOAR, it advances your skills as well. And once you create the rules and run books and all the things in that, it obviously, increase your knowledge as well. And SOAR is, you need resources to, run the SOAR as well. So SOC, and as a VaporVM platform, we also do provide SOC and SOAR solution. Our SOC is a next generation and next level SOC in which we integrated this SOAR solution. We are using XSOAR, extended SOAR solution for our customer, right? So obviously for
Yes.
that SOAR, we required people. We have people, and we are increasing our team to who can manage this SOAR solution as well, which obviously integrated with our SIEM technology and other tools. Does this answer your question, right?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Waqas. Thank you, Mohammed. Okay, Dana, we have more questions, right? We have a little bit of time, maybe 10 minutes or so.
Yes. We have Mr. Mamoon and Usman. Yeah. You have raised your hand.
It's Usman.
Yeah, Usman.
Sir, I want to ask a question regarding the reporting. As Mr. Hamad very well explained the types of reporting like alarm reports and the vulnerability reports, I have a question regarding reporting that I have studied somewhere about the SOC 1 and SOC 2 reporting. Whether these type of reporting comes in the area of compliance reporting?
SOC 1, SOC 2?
Yes. I want to ask about these.
That's regulatory, right? Those are regulatory compliance reports.
Okay, let me answer this question. Usman, this question is very, very relevant to, this SOC. The SOC 1 and SOC 2 are regulatory compliance in terms of, these reports for MSSP, right? And SOC hosting vendors. We were talking about the compliances which is required for the customer. For example, PCI DSS. For example, ISO, HIPAA, SOX. This type of compliances we can generate report based on these compliances, right? The compliances which you are saying SOC 1 and SOC 2, these are for vendors and MSSP and people who are managing SOC. Yes, it also relevant for data security and customer data security, and our tools are capable to generate report for this as well. But primarily the main, when we say that compliance reporting, it's mean we are talking about PCI DSS, we are talking about ISO 27001, 2, and we are talking about HIPAA and other compliances. Does this answer your question?
Very clear, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Then we have one more.
Yes, excuse me, here as a question, please. I would just like to know what solutions VaporVM is providing for the remote working customers, let's say. As you know, from the COVID period right now, there are a lot of customers or let's say employees are now working remotely. And that's really is a threat for the companies. So what kind of solutions that you may be having in order to, let's say, to protect the employees from the cloud solutions that they are maybe hosting, or to connect remotely through VPNs and other solutions to their companies, whether they are companies in the cloud or within on-premises?
Waqas.
Yes. For Mamoon, your question is very relevant. Like we are providing many security systems apart from this SOC. Like we are providing VAPT security assessment and all the services. But for remote customer, we provide secure connectivity. We provide secure, for example, if you are using third-party tools like Microsoft Teams or Zoom or GoToMeeting, we provide secure connectivity. We have the partnership with many third-party vendors as well, and we have our SOC. We can link your remote connectivity through our SOC, in which you would be confident enough to that your data and your connectivity and your file sharing, all these things are secure. We are using AES 256 encryption technology, and in our tools are using different VPN solution to protect the customer's data and customer connectivity and their conversation as well. And
okay, is that include? Sorry, is that include? Let's say, for example, in transit encryption. Let's say customer or employee encryption, internal at rest encryption, encryption over the company itself. Do you have? Does it have to go all the way through your let's say hub of security, or as you will be the intermediate tunnels, or it will be directly connected to the customer premises?
Okay, let me answer this question. So there are different layers of security, right? For example, if you want to, just your database security or data security, then we use data at rest and data in transit in both security. For example, we use always encrypted for SQL servers, and we are using VPN, different IPsec VPN tunnels and SSL VPN tunnels for client connectivity. And for there, for data security, they are different solution. And for customer connectivity and customer conversation, we have different solution. And we group together all these solutions to make a proper tunnel to make sure that everything passing through that tunnel is secure. And we are testing this tunnel and this security, path time by time. So, we are not only using one tool or one piece of software to protect only customer communication. It varies. For database, we have separate tools. For customer connectivity and end-to-end connectivity, we have separate tools. And for customer data and for encryption, we have separate tools, right? Does this answer your question, Amun?
Yeah, that's very nice. And it would be good also if there's recommended, say, solutions, recommended, let's say, partners that you are working with. And then that also, as you said, it will be more securing the client connectivity to the back there to the on-premise. Yes, that's right.
Like we are, Mamun, like we are AWS partner, we are Microsoft partner, and we are in many other distributor partners. So, for example, if you are using Microsoft platform, then obviously your data can be protected through BitLocker and their recommended solution. And if you are using AWS-based infrastructure, Azure or Google Cloud, then they have relevant tools which we can use to protect your infrastructure. Actually, we are service provider. We provide you the services. We are expert to provide you secure connectivity. Whatever platform and whatever solution you are using, we are expert enough to make sure that vendor or that specific principle, we use their tools, utilize their tools to make sure that customer connectivity and customer data is protected enough, right?
Why I'm saying that is that because it could be beneficial to utilize AWS infrastructure and maybe Microsoft in order to get, let's say, a remote desktop and get the user connected to his machine remotely. And from there, he can go into his VPC or his own infrastructure within the cloud or back there in Azure also itself.
Yes, sure. Exactly. For example, there Microsoft Azure provide many different plugins and tools to protect customer data. For example, if you are connected with the, if your on-prem Active Directory or on-prem servers are connected with Azure, there are different tools which most of the people are unaware and unknown to those tools. We can aware the people that the tools are available, and we are expert enough to make sure that these tools are properly configured and in place to for customer data security, right? So tools are available. AWS has many plugins. Azure has many plugins, and different third-party any vendors and PC has many plugins. But most of the time, customer is unaware about those plugins and tools. The tools are there, but we that's why we do the gap assessment, and that's why we provide the advisory services to the customer to make sure that customer is well aware about all this these security plugins and tools.
And you just nailed it down. Yeah, that's about it. Is just about awareing the customer, because I know that there's many customers does not know about these.
Share your email address. We'll send you the detailed information regarding all those plugins and tools. Please share your email address on chat, and we'll share the details with you. Right?
Thanks for your answer.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Moon, for your question. Guys, Zufi, we've literally got maybe just 2 or 3 more minutes. We can possibly take one more question. Beyond that, if anyone wants to kind of like get more detail or catch up or have a follow-up or anything like that, then Dana, you can reach out to Dana. Dana, just write down your email in the chat for everyone. and then she can kind of like channel the communication through to us, and then we can happily answer questions in more detail. And if you need like a demo of one of the services or one of the tools, we can give that in detail as well.
The last point I want to add here, sorry to Shehzad, last point, our managed SOC features is not just the SIEM management. It is a comprehensive SOC, a next level SOC, which provides many add-ons free of cost. I mean, we are not just a SIEM management company. We are providing managed SOC, which includes SIEM management, log management, your data security, your endpoint monitoring, and it includes the gap assessment and VAPT as an advisory, as an add-on services. And plus, very important, advisory services. We properly conduct session with end customer time by time, once in a month, twice in a month, to make sure that customer is satisfied with our services, and customer is aware about all the new services and existing services, right?
Sorry to ask, but just your team is having the qualified, let's say the certified also candidate and engineers for this security requirement, isn't it?
Yes, as I said, we have more than 100 engineers, right? Technical engineers, and we have complete, teams of Microsoft Azure, Microsoft AWS, and VMware and security, and we have many certified people on security, on and other things as well. So we are trusted and certified in almost all cybersecurity domains and all IT domains. You can visit our website. You can check our our strength here, right?
Thank you.
Dana, do we have one more question quickly?
Yes, we do have one. Yeah, we do have Mr. Chains and Nabil who had raised their hands. So if you can let us know your question.
Assalamu alaikum, guys.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
First of all, great presentation, and thank you for the insights. I just have a quick question about the behavior analysis, ML. So I guess, I mean, you have your own model, or you are using an existing one from AWS? Or, how efficient it is? Is it enough mature, or it still needs training to get into being more efficient?
Okay. Ahmad, do you want to take this question, or I have to answer?
You can, yeah.
Okay, so so regarding your question, we have complete, data sciences and machine, the team who works on the machine learning and data science. Okay, so also the tools which we are using right now in our SOC services, they are machine learning based tools. They are built-in plugins to do the machine learning, okay, and which detect the vulnerabilities and the issues in the customer environment based on the machine learning. For example, we are partnered with many different vendors. I'm just giving you one name, like Alien Vault and SecureNext and RSA. These are all tools has a built-in plugins for machine learning based behavior analysis. Other than this, we have the expertise to work on. For example, we use volatility and some other third-party tools to do the manual analysis and threat hunting and behavior analysis. It is just not the matter of using tools. It is basically the expertise, experience, and manual techniques which we build and which we merge with these tools to make sure that we detect the results which are and it doesn't include any false positive. Everything is concrete and accurate, right? Okay. That's why we validate each thing. For example, we just not scan the system and generate the report and send it out to the customer. We first generate the report and validate all the results to make sure that there should not be false positive or false negative in the reports. Everything should be in concrete and accurate, 100%, right?
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Guys, I think we need to call it a day here. Thank you very much to everyone for attending. My only closing remark would be that we've spent about an hour talking about tools and technology and everything like that. But you know what? In my personal experience, The weakest link when it comes to security is actually the person with the brain sitting behind the computer, because you can put the tools and the technologies, and you can put them inside a data center, and you can put like locks and everything there, and you can put the best security in the world. But someone can impersonate and pretend to be the CIO of the company or the CEO of the company and ask them to do something, and they will suddenly break down and do it. And I've seen this with my own eyes. And social engineering, although we haven't really mentioned that, we haven't mentioned it that much here, it's actually one of the most prominent ways that the actual the security gets breached. So, in combination with the tools, one of the most important things is actually training and making aware our actual employees and our customers, and making them aware of these tricks that the human element, and being almost not like distrusting everyone, but the aim is that you become vigilant. You don't let your guard down, because all of these tools are literally worthless if the actual employee who's managing these tools can fall prey to social engineering. And that's it, guys. Thank you very much for taking the time to speak with us and to listen to our presentation. You can stay in touch. You've got an email that you can write your questions to, and all the best. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.